Hi Stampers! Today we're going to be making a card using a window sheet as the card front. And it's just a little bit of a different option that you could use. And I don't use them very often, but I just want to show you how you can use some of those little window sheets or acrylic pieces of paper. So let's get started. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of 6 by 4 1/4 Pretty in Pink cardstock. And I've already cut this, and we're going to go ahead and score it on the short side at 3/4 of an inch. So you're going to have a score line on this side here. Then I took a corner rounder and I just rounded the other 2 corners opposite the score line. Okay, so that piece is basically all we need to do. The only thing I'm going to put on here yet is a piece of a strip of adhesive score tape that's actually going to hold our window sheet in place, but we won't tear off the paper yet, the backing paper yet. So we'll just go ahead and leave this on the side. The next little piece that we're going to do is the window sheet itself, and I want to do this pretty early in the project because it does take a little time to dry, because we're going to be using some Whisper White craft ink, and this is actually a pigment ink, so it does take a little more time to dry than your classic inks. So we're going to be using the little stamp, which is the snowflake stamp from the Punch Pal set. So we'll go ahead and stamp a few snowflakes on this. And just a little word of warning when you're doing this, and you probably can't really see this because I'm against white paper, you don't really want to press too hard when you're using any kind of pigment inks because they are more wet and they do smear a little bit easier. So just, you know, lightly press onto the acrylic or window sheet, and you're going to do quite a few little snowflakes there. And I'll kind of hold this up. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. Maybe up against the pink paper you'll be able to see how pretty that looks. So it's just a couple of snowflake enhancements on there. So we're going to set this on the side just so that we can let that dry a little bit more. I think I'm going to do one more right in here. So, okay. So we're going to put that on the side. The next part that we're going to be doing is the wording and also the little reindeer that we're going to be using, which is the Dasher one. And these are from the a la carte sets, so they're really inexpensive. It's like $9.95 for this, and this is a really beautiful stamp, especially for embossing. So we're going to take our little embossing buddy, and we're going to rub this across the bottom. Since we're going to be embossing, this helps to release some of that static so that your embossing powder doesn't fly everywhere and it stays in one place. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that with the Versamark watermark stamp. And again, this is just kind of our ink that we're going to be using, although it's clear. You're not going to really be able to see it on here until we put the embossing powder on. So we're going to ink that really up, really, really good, get it nice and wet. And we're going to put it in the left lower corner of our card. Press that down real good. So you get a really good impression of ink there. And then I'm going to take my silver embossing powder and go ahead and generously sprinkle it on top of the little Dasher. And we'll go ahead and tap off the excess. Move that out of our way. And then I'm going to take my heat embossing gun and we're going to go ahead and emboss this and heat set it. Takes a minute or two. You'll start to see when it's turning. Okay, that looks good. So make sure I got it all dry. A little bit more. And I notice sometimes my paper will curl a little bit as I'm doing this. So one of the ways you can kind of avoid that happening is just go ahead and heat up the back as well to uncurl it a little bit. And it just flattens out a little better for you. Okay. So we're going to set this aside. Now we're going to go ahead and do our snowflake that's going to be on the front. This is the snowflake punch. Because it's such an intricate design, we usually say to kind of use our punches upside down so we can see where we're punching. But on this one, I would definitely recommend doing the right side down because you need the leverage to get that impression to punch all the way through. And it's much easier than holding it. So we've got our snowflake punch. Then we're going to take this extra paper here and we're going to go ahead and do our little Merry Christmas saying on there. This is from the Bright Hope stamp set. And again, I'm going to be using Versamark and the silver embossing powder. So we'll go ahead and stamp that right on the corner here. And we'll put the silver embossing powder on and get that heated up again. And let me just get my little paper here so I can tap some of this off. And get this out of our way. Now I didn't use my embossing buddy on here, so which I should have, but I think I'm okay. So we'll heat this up again. Alright, and we'll go ahead and just trim this with a scissor. And I'm just going to make kind of a small tag with a little corner rounder here, or not the corner rounder, but just kind of indent it a little bit just to give it more of a pennant type look. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and punch a hole in the end here, and so we can put our little silver elastic thread through that. So we've got that part all done. So the only thing that we really have to do next is get our card together. So what we'll do is we'll take our window sheet, and that looks like it's dry now, and we're going to go ahead and use the corner rounder on the edges again. Just the one side so that it coordinates with the Pretty in Pink cardstock. So it'll lay right inside like that. We'll go ahead and remove our adhesive here and just fold that score line down and get that all nice and secure. Okay, so that's all folded down. So that's what your card's going to look like so far. Then we're going to go ahead and add our Pretty in Pink satin ribbon. We'll just tie a little knot right at the edge here. And I've probably got about 14 inches of ribbon here, 15 inches of ribbon to go all the way around it. And I just kind of tied a knot on the side. Okay, so that's all you do with that. Then we'll take a little piece of silver elastic thread and go ahead and get our little saying on here. And we'll tie that. And these are great little cards to make. I mean, it doesn't take that long, as you can see, and you can mass produce them pretty easily. And again, it's just something a little different. We'll trim off our elastic a little bit here. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put our little snowflake on there. And I'm using a little mini glue dot, just right in the center there. And we're going to attach this right, actually I had mine at the top on the other one, but I kind of like it on the bottom on this one, so we'll do that. And then I'm using a little mini rhinestone jewel, and I'm going to set that right in the center of the snowflake. And there you have a beautiful Christmas card alternative. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.